Hi, welcome back to Based on My Experience, an audiovisual experience where strangers on the internet ask for advice and we, strangers from the internet, respond. We're doing something slightly different today. We don't have like a letter to read, but Jill saw a cool thing and wanted to talk about it. Tell us about it, Jill.
So I saw this really great video and it brought up the subject of love languages, which is a very well-known buzz phrase, I feel like.
Yeah.
A lot of people can recognize that. They know that they were books. They have variations on these books for different people. There's like for military people as well. Like it's kind of like Chicken Soup for the Soul. They've got one for everyone. And I, I used to live by them. I used to think about them and try to keep those in mind as I navigated my various interesting relationships.
Yeah.
And
there's 5 of them, right?
Right. Okay.
And it's physical touch.
Yep.
Acts of service.
Yep.
Words of affirmation.
Yep.
And then you'll have to tell me what the other 2 are.
I should have written those down ahead of time.
Those I remember.
But that was like
Gifts.
Yep.
Quality time.
And quality. Oh, good job.
Yep.
Very good. So, but that just proves my point that this is a very well-known thought process, and it actually came up in a past relationship that I didn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the person I was with is like just not thrilled. I think she wanted a cheat sheet for navigating me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really didn't feel like I had one. I kind of wanted a little bit of everything in our relationship.
Yeah.
And that didn't go over well. And so I found this video, which we will link in the YouTube comment section, by a person who goes under World Shaker. I haven't read or gone through many of his videos, but this one video popped up, watched it, and kind of like hit me, because that conversation of I don't think I have a love language really struck me.
Yeah.
Like, am I the weirdo kind of a thing? And his point, which please take a minute to watch his video, but his point was that love languages are kind of BS. It was made up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, and he makes his point in the video, but I'm like, oh, it was someone with a doctorate, right? And you can check the person who made this up does have a doctorate, but it's in adult education.
Right.
And not therapy, couples counseling, all these things. And it was very validating to find this video with someone who'd done more research than I did, as someone who didn't have a love language. And so what is your experience with love languages?
Oh, this was definitely a part of, because, and the other thing that the video mentions is that the creator of it also has like a seminary background. And I went to basically a seminary, or all my friends were in the seminary part of the college. So it was in the ether of my college experience even.
Oh.
The thing that as soon as you mentioned it, I was like, oh, Amy Grant's ex-husband.
We all love her.
Do we? I don't know. Anyway.
My Bible teacher was in love with her, but she was in denial about that.
Loved Amy Grant. Love her now with Vince Gill. She's very happy with Vince Gill. That's really great. He's a country music guy.
Oh.
Anyway.
Her Christmas CD is the soundtrack of every religious Christmas I've ever experienced, including this year.
Anyway, so I kind of think it was part of my like premarital counseling in 2006.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So it was definitely given to me in the context of marriage counseling, Christian based.
Oh.
So that made sense to me that origin was there. But I think like one of the things that the video brings up is that they're very broad, they're very general, they're very vague. And I was struck by the idea that like when you tell someone you have a love language, it gives them a task to do. And that like, so if my is physical touch, you touch me, you're done. That's it for the day.
Check off the list.
Check off the list. So I don't know. There's lots of, but like that's a thing though. I love taking a quiz and finding out what I am, like putting myself into some category that explains. I love an astrology. I was just learning about palmistry.
What cheese are you based on these 10 hot questions? I definitely
I'm a Gouda, 1000%.
I definitely spent an evening finding every weird quiz I could find and doing them all. It was great.
So fun.
It's very entertaining.
Very entertaining.
So, but like, I feel like it's a good jumping off point.
Yes.
So for people who aren't romantic or want to put more into a relationship, to me, it's kind of like getting your feet wet.
Yeah.
But if us and our culture decides that's all we need to do,
Yeah.
it's you're shortchanging, which is a phrase he uses that really
Yeah.
struck with me, is you're shortchanging your relationship. You know?
Yeah.
Like, what if their love language is physical touch? Not that we're getting on the people who have that as their default, but
Yeah.
like, what about everything else? They still deserve to be told they look hot in that shirt. They still deserve, like, you know, and I don't know. I think it's just all making me realize that
Yeah.
we are trying to find the top tens of relationships, and that's all some people do in their relationships is they take that one thing that they know works.
Yeah.
I mean, and it just, to me, it actually ties back to the history of marriage and how women have had to survive in marriages. Like, I remember, I'm not straight, I'm very lesbian, but like, I have some very straight friends, and they say to me, if he screws up, he better get me something shiny, or I've got my eye on this purse or these shoes, which, cool. If that works for you, awesome. But like, I was very confused by that, because that's not something I've ever been like, I won't be mad at you if you dropped $1,000. You know, like, that's not my experience.
Yeah.
And so I did some thinking and some Googling and some thoughts. And I realized at least a part of that was because women weren't allowed to have bank accounts.
Yeah.
And so they wanted jewelry
Yeah.
as their, sorry, I messed up item. And then that way they had some fast thing they can sell if they had to. And I don't know if it was like covertly or intentionally, but that was a part of that whole dynamic. And so, like, to me, that all is just like, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a jumping off point, but it should not be considered all of relationships and things like that.
I totally agree. But like, if you're a person who's looking for advice in a relationship, and a book will tell you there are 5 things, pick one of them and do that one thing every day, that sounds like pretty decent advice. like advice I can work on today. But I'm totally with you. That's some like basic 101, right? It's not we're not an advanced
that's like
love
freshman level relationship. And you know, some of us want to get like doctorates and master's degrees on being a good partner, just from an excess of bad experiences at this point. And figure it's got to be me at some point. You know,
here comes a cat.
Yeah, here's Alex. He likes to say hi in all the videos. So.
Yay! Hi, Alex.
He's a fan. He wants to be famous someday.
So what's better than love languages? Do you have better advice?
Oh God, sir. I feel like practicing communication is like the absolute best thing, because I don't feel like I'm naturally any good at communication. And like, when I was younger in my 20s, I definitely was that. I have to be tough. I have to be this independent, nothing phases me rock. I had to be the rock for everyone. And
I get that. And I think that's what's attractive about the love languages too, because it at least gives you a permission to say one thing that you want out of your partner.
What you need in a relationship.
Yeah, what you need. But it's never one thing. I think that's what I heard you saying too, is like, I need all the kinds of love all the time. Not because you're especially needy, but because everybody does, right? So,
I mean, so I had this journey after my last breakup, or during, where I'm not good at, I'm a people pleaser. I don't good at asking what I want, right?
Yeah.
And so I made this list of what I need.
Yeah, I did too.
I remember we talked about this years ago. And I wrote it down, and I was so confounded with how simple it was.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I couldn't remember what I had written down, because I was so unused to verbalizing and asking for my needs. And so I would like get out my little green notebook and reread it again and be like, this is what, and then I'd forget. And so we talked about this, and you made your list of needs, and this was just
I did.
Hugely helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there may not be a simple like 5 things that everyone needs, but everyone needs some things. So I think you're right. Like, look in yourself for your own language to describe your needs. I guess if I had a book, I think I always come back to Come As You Are. I loved this book. It was more about sexuality than anything, but it did have a lot of ways of like how to describe what you want in terms of sex or physical touch, right? How to really describe that. And just get in the practice of actually knowing and asking yourself what you want.
Okay, that's a good, like, I mean, yourself is the starting place. You got to know yourself, right?
Yeah.
Figure it out eventually later in life.
Yeah.
So my final question for you
Yes.
is, would you share that list we made back then with your partner, or do you just like, is that something you check off in your head?
Oh. You know, at the time that I was making it, it was more of like, what do I need to feel safe? What do I need to feel... And it was more of a list of like, and does my partner have them? Less than I did not share it with him. I think I would share it with him, especially now that I've sort of like sorted some other things out. I think he would find that he did a good job of meeting the things on the list. Yeah.
It's not something I've shared, but I've definitely done the mental like, okay, that meets this need.
Yeah, and I think that was really important at that time because it was, in a new relationship and we were still settling things out, and I could say things like, this is what I need. If that's not you, I'm not going to force you into doing it. I don't want to make you become the thing I want. So if that's not you, I really do need to know.
Right.
I need to know that.
And it's hard. It's hard, especially in the beginning, to have those conversations.
Yeah, because the conversation is, and now I'm going to leave you.
Right, and that's so hard, especially in that beginning.
You don't want them
Twitter
to
pated place.
Yeah,
that's really hard. Like, I mean, a buddy of mine, former roommate with the amazing cooking skills. She was dating a gentleman, and they were wonderful and happy and very, very compatible on many different things. But because they were so compatible, they never had the talk, the future, the kids, the religion, the school district. Like, they never had that talk.
Yeah.
And they waited until 6 months in, and they were like so great together. They were friends. They had a good physical. They had all the other things.
Yeah.
But they didn't have that talk, and it broke them up. And that's like heartbreaking. You put so much time and effort into a relationship, and then it's just like
yeah. But I think that speaks to a little bit of maturity, though, to be able to say, this is what I wanted. It's not what you wanted. See, I think that's like the dangerous part of telling someone that what you want is like, and if they can't give it to you, you have to make a choice now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you want to give up on, these things?
Yeah. Which thing do you give up on? Do you give up on your need, or do you give up on the person? And I think I'm always the like dump him advice train. Like, anybody who has a relationship conflict, I'm like, y'all should break up. Like, definitely just break up. But that's not
for myself. I'm the opposite.
Not what I want. Yeah,
I've always been the well. I mean, I did scary math once, so I've been saying for years that lesbian math is scary math.
Okay.
Because you figure we're gonna do this real fast.
All right.
You've got 8 billion people in the world, right?
Oh, right.
All right, so
half of them,
as a lesbian, half of them gone, so we're down to 4 billion. Then you have to eliminate the particularly old and the particularly young.
Okay.
Everyone's got their dating range, whatever it is, all the way down to that, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to divide out people who cannot get along with religious-wise, politics-wise, education-wise, if that's something that's important to you.
Right.
You have to divide that down by mental health, physical health, and then you divide it by physical location. Then you divide that by, are they attracted to you?
Right.
Are you attracted to them?
Yeah.
And by the time you distill that down to the potential number for a hetero person, a gay man, a lesbian, a bi person, whatever, that number becomes so astronomically tiny that you start with 8 billion and you end up with like 3 in a city who is, your type and you're their type, etc. And that math is terrifying when you start dating and you get into the gay scene or on the apps and stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes you want to try, even if there are red flags in the beginning.
Yeah, totally. And I think the only, like the reddest of the red flags is I heard you say what you wanted and I decided not to give it to you. Or like I could, but that, not that, I don't know. I think that's also the other part of the love language thing is the reason you get to know yours is so that your partner can do it, right? And that you know theirs so you can love them the way they want to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's some value in that, at least, that says, like, it is my responsibility to love you the way you want to be loved. And if I'm not willing to do that, or I'm not capable of doing that,
Yeah.
then, you know, we've got some work to do.
Yeah. So it's not a baby with the bathwater situation.
Right.
But
Right.
it's a good jumping
Right.
off place.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you guys have any thoughts, would like to share your coming to terms and realizations when it comes
Yeah.
to your needs versus the 5 love languages, please share. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions about those things or some thoughts you want to share, we will be doing a comment and question video and go from there.
Yeah. And if you have better advice than 5 love languages, we'd love to hear it.
And books or links or videos, feel free to put them in the comments for us. We'll go over them.
All right. Well, that was based on our experience. Bye.